Some young people have asked me why they were born into their poor family, with their parents' social status so low. We've experienced poverty in our family since childhood. What fate is this? Why did I end up with parents who have no money or ability? It's because this is our karma. Others are born into good families, with good looks, high intelligence, strong abilities, sharp minds. This is because they've accumulated merits and virtues in their past lives. You get merits by performing good deeds. What are merits then? It encompasses various benefits. For example, some were born attractive, intelligent, wise, and rich. Their work, love life, and business all proceed smoothly. These are children from families blessed with merits. I met a married couple who both graduated from university. Let's say they're around 50 now, both with respectable jobs. I looked at them, and even before they spoke, I could sense something from their appearance. It was bad. A disciple asked me, "Bad? How?" I replied, "I see a spendthrift appearance." The disciple was curious how I saw that. The wife told me they'd worked honestly and saved up over 300,000 Canadian dollars. That's roughly equivalent to 300,000 US dollars. It took them over 20 years. Later, they invested in a company recommended to them by a good friend. They got scammed. Legal action was futile, the company went bankrupt. No law could help them. So, the wife asked me, "Why is my fate so harsh?" They had lost money before, but this was the worst. Now they're left with nothing. Those inducing her to invest were her closest schoolmates. When she studied in middle school in China, they moved to the US together. She got scammed by people she trusted so much. Her friend blamed it on that company. The company was bankrupt. And her friend also lost her investment, $200,000. The friend couldn't retrieve her own money either. She was also a victim. Here is my answer for them. They're going to work forever without accumulating wealth. I didn't say it like this, of course. I toned it down a little. We talked about it among ourselves after they'd left. I said, based on their appearance, they won't be able to save money. Why do they have the look of someone who squanders wealth? This is a good question. This is due to insufficient merits from past lives. They haven't performed enough good deeds. They were stingy in their previous lifetimes. They're smart, thanks to their parents. They do well in their studies and work, but just can't seem to save money. The time they become wealthy is also the time they die. It's in their fate. They're not supposed to become rich. So, in our study of physiognomy, we also delve into how much wealth a person might have in this lifetime. There is a limit to the wealth you can have according to your fate. It's tied to your past and present life. Today's topic is karma. When it comes to squandering wealth, it means squandering the wealth or business left by your ancestors, leading to its decline. This could be one reason for your family's downfall. Here's a reminder for you. These wealth-squandering signs stem from a larger karmic cause, including 4 stages. The first stage is committing harmful acts, such as killing, stealing, deceiving, abusing drugs, kidnapping, extorting, and other wrongdoings. Killing is considered the gravest sin among these acts. These harmful acts generate karma. According to the definition, karma refers to both good and bad outcomes. To make it simple for you, we can refer to the negative outcomes as karma. The positive outcomes are referred to as merits. From the ultimate perspective of karma, there is both good and bad karma. Harmful actions generate negative karma, which leads to the wealth-squandering signs. When one has the wealth-squandering signs, wealth-squandering behaviors follow. Now let's talk about the signs of squandering wealth. First, it's excessive drinking. We often see some people, especially men, walking unsteadily on a regular basis. When they walk, they're swaying like willows in the wind. Because they're drunk. Can a person who indulges in alcohol truly say they love their family? Do they take care of their household, raise their children well, and manage their business successfully? No, they cannot. Some turn to alcohol to drown their sorrows, such as divorce or unemployment. The more troubles one encounters, particularly men, the more likely they are to drink to numb themselves. Why? To reduce worries. Drinking to forget only leads to more troubles and even deadly consequences. If one drinks too much and can barely move or speak, it's not too severe. When you're half drunk and say what you wouldn't say normally, this is troublesome. Many disasters in our lives stem from a moment of agitation. In the heat of the moment, excessive or ill-considered words are spoken, sparking all sorts of conflicts. Even divorce or job loss could result from impulsive behavior after drinking. You may even tell your secrets, your account number when you're drunk. Thus, excessive drinking can trigger numerous unfortunate events. More ways to squander wealth are eating, drinking, whoring, and gambling. Engaging in prostitution is to satisfy one's own desires. Disregarding the perfect family structure and the feelings of one's children. Those who fall into such behaviors are indeed squandering their legacy. This kind of behavior leads to uncontrollable spending, similar to children who pay to play online games. These games involve competing with other players through the internet in various games. When you lose a match, the cost might not seem much at a glance, perhaps just a few dollars. However, after playing for hours on end, one can lose over $2,000 in one day, equivalent to an entire month's salary. How are you going to pay rent and other living expenses? Small amounts accumulating over time can be a big amount. These games make people addicted. During competitive moments, it's easy to lose track of time. Gambling activities, such as mahjong or poker, can make people play for 8 hours straight. From gambling to paying prostitutes and beyond. Your expenses can increase without you even realizing it. I know of a fellow practitioner whose friend had invested in 4 ski resorts in China. Speaking in terms of US dollars. The investment in even the smallest of these resorts exceeded $1 billion. However, one day, this practitioner was in his office, and his friend came in with several burly men, who wore black suits and dark sunglasses, just like the goons in a gangster movie. They were not his friend's lackeys, but rather escorting him to borrow money from our practitioner. The friend wanted to borrow as much as he could. The practitioner then shared his friend's story. This wealthy individual, who owned a ski resort, one day lamented how exhausting it was to manage the resort daily. A friend suggested they could have an annual shareholders meeting in Macau. Macau is famed not for its delicacies but for its casinos. They stayed in Macau for a month. One day, the wealthy man wanted to test his luck at the casino. He then approached the poker table. The dealer showed his hands, proving his integrity, that he had no trickery up his sleeve. And so, the cards were dealt. This wealthy man was shrewd, a national treasure known for being too smart. Upon assessing his cards, he knew how to play and won immediately. Thus, he turned 200,000 renminbi swiftly into 2 million renminbi. A simple card game wasn't too hard for a math competition champion like him. He'd found the perfect place to showcase his talents. Soon, his winnings ballooned to 6 million renminbi. It came to a point he placed all his winnings in one bet. Then, an unknown individual approached, betting 10 million renminbi in one go. This completely shocked him. That's a lot of money. That person didn't even flinch. Then, the game went on. And this wealthy friend lost everything in seconds. His 6 million renminbi were snapped up by someone else. He thought he could win everything back. But his secretary informed him they'd run out of cash. Then, casino staff who offer loans to VIPs approached him. The loan agreement was entirely in Portuguese, a language unfamiliar to him despite his wealth. He signed the agreement without thinking much. He was desperate to win back his losses. 3 months later, he was penniless. His 4 ski resorts were handed over to others. And he still owed money. That was why he led those Macau associates to all his acquaintances, seeking to borrow money to repay his gambling debts. Now you see why gambling can ruin everything a person has. Older people may laugh at their small bets, claiming that they're no big deal. The thing is, when you go small, your grandchild could learn from you and go big. Or perhaps after a drink, they'd stake the entire family home. The young tend to learn from the old and go bigger. This is one form of ruinous behavior. One must never act recklessly. Another sign of wealth squandering is reckless investing. I mentioned this earlier. Remember the couple who worked hard to save up? They managed to save 300,000 Canadian dollars, and then became penniless after investing in a company recommended by a close friend. The more ordinary a worker is, the heavier their losses are when investing. Do you know why? Let me explain. For those who constantly navigate the waters of investment, fraud, and risk, they are bombarded with both positive and negative information. When interacting with others, their guard is especially high. They scrutinize whether you're deceiving them, right? They're smart, understanding the risks of the streets. But if you're a white-collar worker, your life revolves around home and the office. You have no experience in investing, not knowing its risks. At most, you've heard stories. But these aren't your own first-hand experiences with risk. Therefore, your mind remains relatively naive. This has nothing to do with the complexity of the company you invest in. When you face a company alone, you have only limited information about it. Since you're neither a boss nor an investor, you lack understanding of investment. So, the more ordinary a worker is, the higher the risk they face when investing. When you exhibit such ruinous traits, so-called profits entice you, making it easy to fall into such behaviors. Your hard-earned savings will dissipate into thin air. Regardless of your financial status, those who enjoy taking risks, whether financially or emotionally, are also demonstrating a form of ruinous behaviors. Another such behavior is habitual lying. I've noticed some people always tell the truth. And typically, these individuals are not very popular. They just say whatever they feel, without observing their listeners' reactions. Their speech is blunt and straightforward. They're telling the truth. They're nothing but honest. Their words may offend you, but are actually beneficial to you. If someone's words always make you feel good like drinking wine, you should be careful. They're smooth talkers. They could leave you broke and you'd still want to hear from them. Why? Because they're smooth talkers. The idea of smooth-talking scammers sounds ridiculous to you. How could he deceive me with such loving eyes? You're a fool for selling yourself out and counting others' money. Thus, be wary of those whose speech flatters you. Liars are on the path to ruin. Liars can deceive for money, emotions, and trust. But ultimately, they meet no good end. On a path to ruin. Next, you wouldn't expect this: laziness. Being lazy? Seriously? Think about a chemical plant that exploded because someone was lazy. The explosion contaminated half of the city. The mushroom cloud shocked everyone. It turns out an engineer working there dozed off during a night shift, forgetting that he left the kettle heating on the stove. That's how the explosion happened. When is an engineer at his laziest? When they sit on a super convenient office chair. These chairs are hated yet loved for their convenience. If a motor is installed, it can move with just one press. Like a chair used by disabled people. The wheels make it so easy for you to reach your desired location by just kicking. Think about a healthy person riding on it to the bathroom. It's fun. This is how lazy the engineer was. In Chinese history, there was a famous lazy woman. Sorry, ladies. This extremely lazy woman's husband went out to do business. Knowing his wife's laziness, he baked a big pie with a hole in the middle, placing it around her neck, and telling her to turn the pie after finishing the front part. Upon his return a month later, she had starved to death. having only nibbled at the part directly in front. She was too lazy to turn the rest of the pie to her front. The story accurately depicts the nature of laziness. Alright, joking aside, let's be serious. Consider owning a factory with 300 workers. No matter the product. If you only check in at the end of the day and neglect your finances and taxes for 3 years, what would happen to that factory? If it's still around after 3 years of being neglected, that's already fortunate. You might find that it's been losing money, with a significant debt accumulated. You don't want this result. So, many of our ill behaviors are actually triggered by laziness, leading to various adverse effects. Many of our ruinous traits stem from laziness. Another trait is confusion, a state where one's mind is foggy. For such individuals, when dealing with serious matters, their eyes are glazed or rolling back, a sign of brain hypoxia. However, their eyes light up when they hear an evil plan. This is bad. When one's attention fades during important discussions, when they have no spark in their eyes, it's a sign of ruin, indicating a lack of merits. Being confused during the day and acting all worked up at night are also signs. One might sing loudly, disturbing neighbors, or run around attracting police attention. In short, doing things you shouldn't do. This is one kind of confusion. There is another kind of confusion, which is liking the evil ways, getting excited about gambling, crimes, spooky stuff, doing drugs, etc. In short, showing keen interest in harmful activities. People like this are not interested in getting a job and working honestly. Only the crooked stuff can get their spirit to soar. This is driven by negative karma and will ruin your family. We've covered various forms of ruinous traits. I'm broadly discussing these to help you and your loved ones. Reflect on whether any apply to you. These traits can lead to more complications, including marital discord. There were people who, after going through troubles to get married, vowed never, or at least for 7 years after marriage, to have children. 7 years later, they changed their minds, but they were unable to conceive, despite being willing to go to great lengths to have a child. Refusing to conceive when it's possible, and desperately wanting to when it's impossible, constitute ruinous karma. The happiness of passing down family heirlooms, such as bowls or furniture used by grandparents, brings joy and hope. People only live 100 years at most. Nothing is left behind after people die. Leaving something for future generations fosters a sense of happiness. Humans aspire to leave something for their future generations. Choosing not to have children after marriage is a personal choice, and there's no right or wrong about this. In my opinion, such a decision can be significantly detrimental. If you choose not to have children, you're putting a stop to the continuity of the family lineage. Many young people fail to consider this due to a lack of forward thinking, especially singles, or those who've given up on love after failed relationships. The thing is, loneliness can become overwhelming by middle age. Your parents can't help you with this problem. Therefore, it's advised to find a life partner and start a family before the age of 35. To ensure marital stability, you're having 2 or more babies. Marriages without children tend to be more unstable. Like facing a typhoon at sea, always at risk of capsizing. Another unexpected form of ruinous trait is ingratitude. Betraying those who have helped you, or harming your benefactors. Invites divine punishment, indicating the dissipation of family fortune and a lack of loyalty. Another sign of wealth squandering is experiencing constant nightmares. As we've discussed before, these are true stories shared by our followers. Some nightmares are akin to some drama series. People can dream of the same person for over a decade, a continual ghost story. This tells you that a greater force is behind these nightmares. Or some dreams could be standalone, but they're all dreams about life and death situations. Or dreams that involve malevolent spirits. Such phenomena are also undesirable, indicative of ruinous traits. Another ruinous sign, which might come as a surprise, involves what is known as depression. You feel sad when others are happy. When others are sad, you feel much sadder. Your life is filled with pain and darkness. Normally, the sight of beautiful flowers in full bloom brings a sense of happiness. However, to someone who is depressed, they just scoff at the flowers, calling them stupid or ugly. Seeing beauty but feeling unhappy about it suggests a lack of positivity and fortune in one's life. Next, experiencing misfortune. For example, accidents, car crashes, tragic incidents. Dying by suicide, through hanging, jumping off a building, self-poisoning, etc. Misfortune is calamities coming from heaven. Twisting your ankle and breaking a bone is troublesome, right? Or, a brick falling on your head while you're walking. This is known as misfortune, a sign of a family's decline. Next, being short-lived, this is even worse. This can be even tortuous, involving inexplicable diseases. For example, ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Think about losing your mobility because of nerve deterioration. One starts out moving their hands and feet freely. But slowly, these abilities are lost. The neurons controlling motor functions gradually lose their capacity, leading to death by asphyxiation. The great pain of this disease is that the patient is conscious of their suffering until the end. Diseases like ALS are becoming increasingly common. Unheard of 20 years ago but now on the rise. The worst part is the clarity of mind while the body becomes immobile. There's no cure for ALS. Other similar conditions include lupus and various aggressive cancers. For severe cases of psoriasis, the patient will leave lots of skin flakes on the bed sheets every night. as much as a bowl of them. What an excruciating experience. I'll share another sign easy to distinguish. Before the signs of wealth squandering occur, a particular facial sign will emerge. One straightforward indicator is gray spots appearing on the face, especially on the area above the tip of the nose, extending to the forehead. Unlike common freckles, these gray spots vary in size. It's about the size of a soybean, and it's gray. Usually, more than one spot will emerge. Having two or more spots might lead to frequent ghost sightings, while three or more can indicate serious mental health issues. Or a shortened lifespan. These gray spots, impervious to cosmetic treatments, are considered marks of the devil. Not birthmarks, they appear without prior existence, hinting at potential mental instability or sudden death in a car crash. These gray spots signal disasters. Since we're talking about good and bad luck, I recall the teaching last year on the Earth Store Sutra. We introduced an analogy to describe karma and merits, which can be envisioned in three distinct layers. Everyone carries balloons of merits and weights of karma. The more merits you have, the more balloons you have, and the higher you'll ascend. Now, the more bad deeds you do, the more weights you accumulate, and the lower you'll be pulled down. More merits, more balloons, which means you'll rise and reach heaven easier. The human realm exists between the paths of evil and heaven. Therefore, humans embody both good and evil qualities. That explains how humans have evil intentions. We learn and apply both good and bad deeds. You need to know how to tell good from evil, right from wrong during these times. The lower three paths lead to sufferings, hardships, a shortened lifespan, poverty, and disaster. The upper three realms represent heaven. Heaven is where the upper three realms are. Their lifespans, when measured in human years, span at least several thousand years. The longest lifespan is the same as that of heaven. We're talking about light years, signifying incredibly long lifespans. There is no suffering, poverty, unemployment, or divorce. Everything is positive. Thus, it's crucial for everyone to gain some understanding of this. This leads to why marks of the devil may appear on someone's body due to committing too many harmful and evil deeds. Some of them are not due to actions in this life. Some children encountered disasters as soon as they were born. They had no time to do anything bad. So why did they suffer? It's due to their actions taken in past lives, as well as those of their ancestors. Thus, many of our sins and punishments are not from this life but from previous ones. Likewise, the good things we have now are results from past life actions. Natural beauty, health, intelligence, and the ability to undertake normal or prosperous ventures are rewards from merits accumulated in past lives. Due to the merits earned previously, many children seem to have an innate familiarity with their lessons, as if they had learned them in the past. Such high wisdom is directly linked to their past lives' deeds. When they study, they seem like they have learned in their past lives. This is the result of their past lives' deeds. We can do various deeds to accumulate merits. After accumulating merits, we reap numerous positive benefits. How many benefits, you ask? Well, who doesn't like to prosper financially? No one can live without money, that's a fact. However, it's crucial not to harm others in the pursuit of wealth. By performing meritorious deeds, we are more likely to attain wealth and prosperity. Additionally, our descendants will thrive. After your son gets married, his wife may quickly conceive without your persuasion. For your first grandchild, do you want a boy or a girl? Whatever you want, grandson or granddaughter. Your wish can be fulfilled if you have merits. If only you have enough merits, you get the grandchild of the desired gender. Your marriage will be smooth. Some youngsters may struggle with relationships. They may chat well online, but break up upon meeting each other. Don't blame your looks but rather your lack of karmic connection. With the right merits, even a single meeting can lead to marriage. The other party would like your photo and agree to wed. No need for negotiations, you head straight into marriage. You can get married right away, even without dating. Absolutely fantastic. Apart from successful marriages and easy childbirth, what are the other benefits we can expect? How about academic success? Your children could excel in school, combining intelligence with good looks, making them charming and popular among their peers. Boys would become attractive to girls, and girls would look beautiful and sociable to boys. This is how you can be blessed with enough merits. Those with merit are also pleasant and likable. They graduate from prestigious colleges and have good jobs, making them highly attractive in romantic pursuits. We all hope that our children have a good career and have no trouble finding partners. A successful career gives you financial stability, so you can pay for 2 bowls of noodles rather than sharing a bowl with your partner. Wealth is important, right? Having a successful career signifies that you have corresponding merits. Frequent career failures could mean a lack of merit. With enough merits, one will gain the benefit everyone loves, longevity. Merits bless you with longevity. If your family typically lives to 60, your good deeds could extend your life to 99. Your family will be prosperous. Your daughter-in-law might continue having children. When you suggest stopping after 6 children, she still wants more for the family's prosperity. Such families often have very compassionate and nurturing parents who have done lots of good deeds, ensuring their family's flourishing. This is not achieved through punishment or criticism but through care. Compassion, praise, assistance, and encouragement. Your kindness will be reciprocated by your daughters-in-law and sons-in-law, fostering a compassionate and tolerant environment. Being kind is not enough. A good family is also about being charitable. Kindness is shown through how much you give. Many people are compassionate inside, but never give or offer. In other words, they're stingy. Being kind at heart is not enough. It's also about your willingness to engage in these virtuous acts. The more you offer, the richer you shall become. Remember, the stingy are often poor. Please remember. You want to be rich? Then be generous to your friends. Simple. Givers are often wealthier than takers. It is more blessed to give than to receive. Being charitable is not just about having money, but giving even when your money is tight. We used to be poor, but my mom always helped the needy. She'd bring beggars home and cook noodles for them. Making dumplings was too troublesome, so she made noodles or lump soup for them. Giving steamed buns too. She was never stingy. That's how my mom was, generous and charitable. You can make offerings to the Buddha, to the monks or to the temples. If there is a flood, we donate to reputable charities. Helping out victims of disasters. These are also good deeds. Your donation might be misused, but your compassion is genuine. Your family and future generations will benefit. Achieving wealth and auspiciousness. Do you understand? This illustrates that we create our own fate, both good and bad, through our actions. Thank you, all, for listening to me today.
小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，生命变得更坚定，不忧忧无虑。因为有了你，日子不再有哭泣，不再有恐惧。 生气，我只会